Women have spent decades now asking for something remarkably simple: more time with their babies and young children. But increasingly, a lot of moms are experiencing the exact opposite. There are endless videos online of women crying in their office bathrooms, mourning being separated from their newborns for the majority of their day, every day. There are more toddlers sobbing at daycare drop-offs, while parents rush back to jobs that leave very little room for family life. And I hesitate to think that the answer is just throwing us an extra month or two, or maybe even 3 of maternity leave, although having a baby in Norway as a working mom kind of makes me want to consider Norway, I won't lie. It's really good. It's really good in Norway. I do think the answer is way deeper than extending maternity leave, but let's start there because we do need to talk about who is pushing to keep maternity leave short. And strangely enough, the first place we need to look is somewhere I genuinely would have never expected to have a dog in the race against maternity leave. It's the baby formula industry. Let me be so clear here. This is not a video against moms who feed their babies formula. If you're looking for a video to break down the benefits of breastfeeding versus formula, this isn't it.
These aren't the droids you're looking for.
I know a lot of moms happily choose formula and the ease that it brings them, while others choose it with genuine grief in their hearts because breastfeeding just didn't work out even though they tried so hard. This conversation is not about whether you should breastfeed versus formula feed, and it's not meant to shame you if you do feed your baby formula. My twin sister and I were formula fed as babies. We're only a little strange, but mostly normal.
Normal? What do you know about normal?
With saying all that, we can also all still recognize the objective benefits of breastfeeding for mom and baby. It's wonderful for you. It's wonderful for your baby. And I think a lot of people are becoming aware of the fact that formula makers have historically been pretty predatory, specifically towards new parents, new moms especially, who are really vulnerable and unaware about breastfeeding and milk supply and all of the endless things there are to know about all of that. It's exhausting. It's overwhelming. Moms just want a healthy baby, and too often formula companies convince mothers that the pathway to their child being really healthy just happens to be the pathway leading to that expensive formula canister on the shelf over there. But the thing I had never heard of before that genuinely blew my mind was this. In 2023, researchers found some people in the formula industry lobbying against stronger parental leave protections. One line from the researchers' report says, some commercial milk formula lobby groups have cautioned against improved parental leave. Why? Why would a formula group lobby against better maternity leave for new moms? To answer that, we raise another question. Why would longer maternity leave threaten a formula company? Well, the less time a mom is with her baby, the harder breastfeeding is, and when breastfeeding becomes harder, formula feeding becomes more appealing and sometimes totally necessary. So a longer maternity leave, say 4, 5, 6 months, would allow many women the sufficient time they need to establish breastfeeding, and it would also allow moms to pump and store up gallons worth of breast milk. But when moms are rushed back to work, especially new moms, they are still likely actively struggling with breastfeeding. And then you throw in the wrench of being separated from your baby for most of the day. I don't blame a single mom for choosing formula in that situation. So the conclusion to that is that formula industries profit when moms go back to work quickly. So they're not in support of longer parental leave, which I guess that makes sense, as bad as it is. So in the broader picture, more corporations benefit when mothers spend less time mothering. So of course, the corporate sphere of our modern culture is probably not going to be the ones spearheading the movement to extended maternity leave. But the tactics against women actually start before they even become moms in the first place. And I don't want to make it sound like all of these big corporations secretly really hate women, because I don't think that's honest. Example, IKEA apparently just announced that women now make up half of its managers. Accor, which I've never heard of, but they own a bunch of hotel brands. They supposedly have this program called Women Up, which is a program to prepare women for manager roles within their company. A lot of companies are actively trying to support, to uplift, to bring more women in, to bring more women into management. That's true. We all know that. But the problem is, I think they define supporting women in whatever way best preserves women's productivity and the workflow for the corporation, rather than supporting women as a whole, mothers in particular. Because women who become mothers often become employees who want to spend less time at work, or they need more flexibility throughout the day. And this moves to the deeper layer of the discussion, because the problem is not that women are working, a lot of us genuinely want to work. It's that motherhood in particular collides with our modern culture's obsession with productivity and output. A lot of Gen Z in particular feels this reality that how much you contribute and produce economically, or even tangibly, I guess, has become the measure of a person's value.
My day is 6 a.m. to noon, and I'm not crazy. My second day starts at noon and goes till 6 p.m. That's day 2. And then the next day is 6 p.m. to midnight. What I've done now is I have changed and manipulated time. I now get 21 days a week.
So if you aren't contributing, if you aren't like really active in the workplace and all of these things, you are kind of seen as less than. So a woman who transitions into motherhood is usually way less willing and able to reorganize her entire life around work and being productive. Not because she's less ambitious or lazy, but because her baby matters infinitely more than quarterly goals and emails and meetings and all of these things at work. Babies disrupt productivity culture because children require time. They have unpredictable and constantly changing schedules. And most importantly, they require presence. And raising them doesn't necessarily appear productive, unfortunately. Although it's so productive. And it's not just that children are like demanding these things of their parents. It's that moms and dads actually desire to give their children these things. Like it turns out we all really like our kids and we want to go play at the park with them. And we want to watch them get brave enough to go down the slide and go meet that kid over there who they've been staring at for the past 3 minutes because they really want to go play, but they're too nervous to go play. Parents want to do that. That is what our life is about. No longer is a parent's life about work. It's about this child. We love that because that is the reality of becoming a mom. So many modern workplace solutions for uplifting women revolve around helping women delay or suppress, outsource, or minimize motherhood rather than restructuring their own workplace for women. This could be uncomfortable to consider, but could it be that the corporations that now offer egg freezing benefits to women might do so primarily because it encourages their young female workforce to stay at their desk instead of in the rocking chair with her newborn child? Like, is that such a stretch to consider? I really don't think so. Starbucks does this. They'll give a woman $25,000 to freeze her egg. I couldn't really tell from this website, but it actually appears you might get more than that to freeze your eggs. Apple will give you $20,000 to do it. Or even worse, companies will literally pay for their female employees to take time off to go get an abortion. And I think a lot of progressive women in particular are being played by corporate America with this because these companies are actively being applauded as defenders of women's rights and freedom while forking out a couple hundred or maybe $1,000 to get pregnant employees back to work within, 2 weeks, maybe 3, whereas the alternative is paying significantly more to this woman for her maternity leave and then having an employee whose top priority will, in all likelihood, not be work anymore because she's biologically wired and naturally desires to care way more about her children than her desk job. So companies will help you delay pregnancy and they'll help you freeze your eggs and outsource your childcare and suppress your fertility and pay for abortions so that you can get back to work immediately. Corporations know that women who spend more time mothering spend less time at work. Because the thing is, every mother knows this, that the day that she gives birth to a child and then holds her tiny, wonderful, life-changing baby is the day she realizes that this is clearly the most important job in the world. It remains one of the most vivid memories of my life when I went to the grocery store for the first time after giving birth to my first child and seeing all of these other women around me who were mothers. I saw them in an entirely new light, like I'd never seen mothers before, because of experiencing motherhood myself and knowing what it takes, how it builds you into somebody you never thought you could be, but turns out you can. I just felt like I was surrounded by superheroes. Like I was in the secret world of moms who were doing the crazy and never-ending, all-encompassing work of raising children, aka keeping the world afloat. Like, it was transformational in a way that almost nothing else has ever been in my life before. I felt God in that Safeway that day.
And I feel God in this Chili's tonight.
Everything changes the day you have a baby, but then women are expected to leave that whole new world they just entered behind and hand their baby to a near stranger at daycare and immediately return to the world of work as if nothing happened. I mean, your body is still recovering from childbirth. You're barely sleeping. Your hormones are changing. You're emotionally overwhelmed, and your body and brain are working nonstop to bond with an entirely new human being who is completely dependent on you for their survival. And the workplace in particular just has this way of going like, congratulations, he's so cute. I love him. Great name. You need to have this project in by the end of the day or there's going to be a problem. And you're like, what? I found this Reddit post that kind of perfectly sums up how most women feel returning to work. I'm very lucky that I didn't return to work until 7 months postpartum, although I would have preferred a year, but the USA hates moms. In a lot of ways, this is true. In a lot of ways, this is not true. I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm back to work hybrid and I'm feeling terrible. I feel like I'm failing being a mom and being an employee. My confidence is low. I feel like people at work are talking another language. Yes, from the deepest part of my soul, and every other mother who works says yes. Like it's a different world and it's a different language. And okay, anyways, I don't need to go on my soapbox. I'm reading this Reddit post. I feel like a wild animal hormonally. I hate pumping on my in-office days. My work has plummeted and I already got a poor performance review last year. Does this get easier? And like all of the people in the comments agree. I don't even need to explain it. I luckily cannot relate to this quite as much as many moms because the organization that I work for is pro-life and our families are really integrated into our work. Like I'm way more supported as a working mom than the vast majority of moms are. And yet I still returned to work life after my first baby, and I felt a lot of this, of just feeling like there's no way I can be a great mom and a great employee at the same time all of the time. And all of the deadlines and the emails and quotas can just feel so trivial compared to what matters the most to moms, which is our kids. Every day, that is what matters the most. It's honestly something I never would have believed before becoming a mom, like how great my child mattered and how deeply I wanted to be with him every waking moment. Even when I did get that very rare time where I was like, I need a break, and I would leave him with my husband to go get coffee on my own or something, like I'd be holding the coffee and I'd enjoy my time. But every time I just think, man, I kind of wish my son was with me instead, because I love him. I love him and I want to be with him all the time. Everything revolves around your baby. And though the anti-child aspect of our culture paints that reality as a chain keeping women down, I think most women are realizing that that deep, unbreakable, life-changing gravitation towards their baby isn't actually a chain. It's not a chain. It's a human, wonderful, healthy, privileged relational bond unlike any other bond on earth. And it's awesome. There's this trend that I like. Every time I see it, I'm just like fist bumping in the air after I'm done watching. It's so good. Maybe this is very boomer of me to think that this trend is great, but I feel like mothers everywhere watch it and they're like, yeah, that's me. I watched this video and I'm like, the most intense emotions of the earth is what it's like to become a mother. Life is more vibrant and it's more meaningful, and there's like, you have somebody to defend till your dying breath. It's crazy cool, dude. I think modern culture has trained women to view that overwhelming attachment to their children as regressive to us as women, because I don't know, it like pulls our eyes and focus back on the quiet, supposedly unglamorous work of loving and raising a child, when the progressive feminists work so hard to get us out of the home where our kids were. But really, a mother loving her child so deeply that she physically aches to be near them, that she thinks of them all day and works harder for them than she's ever worked for herself, that's not a design flaw in a woman. The core of this discussion is really about what matters most. It's about what we should revolve around in this very short time that we are given on this earth. The greatest joys in your life, whoever you are watching this video, are probably not economical. It's probably not about the raise that you just got at work, as awesome and well-deserved as it was. You probably think of the face that you wake up next to, or the weekly phone call with your mom and dad, or for me, like the daily phone call with my mom and dad gives me amazing joy. Or you think of making dinner for people that you love, or hosting, or how comfortable your friend's home is to you now that you've been around each other for so many years. And parents think of the children they bore, the children they raised and poured days, weeks, years, tears, love, hugs into. These are the things that our lives should revolve around. I think deep down, women know that there is something wrong with the vision that work ought to come before our children. Because children are not obstacles to our flourishing as humans. They are not burdens to eliminate so that we can finally get back to living our real lives. And while we're here, a culture of flourishing mothers creates a culture of healthy children, which then creates a healthy and flourishing culture. So in the long run, the greatest investment corporate America could make is giving women the support they need to prioritize mothering their children. So now you may be thinking, okay, so like, what is the answer? How do we do that? I should probably take more time to think about that. Do I have specific recommendations? I do. Number one, let moms work from home. If it's at all possible, let them do it from home. Data consistently shows that mothers are highly efficient and productive employees. We know how to crank out a day's worth of work in 2 nap windows. Like, just wait and see. We for sure can. Offer as much maternity leave as you possibly can. Offer half a year. Offer 1 year. How crazy would that be? Let moms establish breastfeeding. Let them be the primary caregiver to the baby who wants her to be the primary caregiver. Let her get out of her postpartum period without worrying about deadlines and KPIs. This video is entirely about women, but give fathers paternity leave. Let men be home with their babies and their postpartum wives for at least a month. Most likely, his wife really needs his help anyways, and his family is his highest priority. And a man back in the office after 1 or 2 weeks of having a new baby is not going to be an A-level employee. He's not going to be focused on work. He shouldn't be focused on work. He's wishing he was home with his little snuggle buddy. Aww. Those are some of my ideas, but I'm so down to make a video one day about like policies that workplaces should enact to allow family integration, because healthy families create a healthy culture. In conclusion, having a baby is one of the most meaningful, profound, formational things human beings can experience. We should advocate for a workplace culture that recognizes and works with that reality. Thank you for joining.